Hey, everybody. You are about to hear a brief retelling of the movie Mr. Simpleton. Enjoy the movie. Cruel, sinister gym teacher Mr. Woodcock keeps his students in fear and is always happy to crush them morally and punish them physically. In his opinion, only the resilient strong will survive in this world. Chubby John was left without a uniform after his locker was broken into, and Woodcock makes the kid change his clothes in front of everyone and demands 25 cents for the use of a spare uniform. So he makes the little guy do one pull-up. Meanwhile, an exhausted Niederman is already running laps. Finally, John gives up and slips off the bar. 13 years later, John wrote a book, How to Forget the Past and Start Over. It became a bestseller among losers of all stripes. Maggie is John's literary agent, and she warns him that there may be psychopaths lurking among his readers. John is to be presented with a corn key to his hometown, the most important event during the corn carnival. His mom has been corn queen for several years, so he's ready to head to his farm town as early as tomorrow. He is greeted at the site by a small delegation and even a band. Farley is the town's main celebrity. After many years, John has returned to his father's home. Beverly is madly happy to see her son, but right now she is going on a date. The woman has been dating a kind and caring man for 5 months. More importantly, John has known him for a long time too. It's his gym teacher, Jasper Woodcock. John is frozen in place, and the PE teacher himself claims he doesn't remember him. The three of them go to a restaurant. This year Jasper will be named Teacher of the Year, and Jasper suppresses and insists that T is he who pays for their dinner. Say thank you, Beverly prompts her son. The woman doesn't notice that the men are disgusted with each other. But she is immensely happy around Jasper. After the death of her husband, this is the first man with whom Beverly is really easy, but John did not even sleep a wink remembering the words of the hated gym teacher. And the wimpy students and his useless book. Turns out the man snuck into the house at night to get into bed with his mom. The PE teacher's taunts from 13 years ago still echo in the writer's head. At a local coffee shop he met a runner, Niederman, who read his book and it completely changed his life according to the man's statement. Soon all the employees of the pizzeria found out that Woodcock inserts the poor guy's mom. John himself learns that Jasper killed a kid named Olds. He made him run 6 miles and he had asthma. John decides to take his own advice from the book and have a frank talk with the gym teacher. But he froze in horror at the entrance to the gymnasium, and the heavy memories of the gym teacher hitting the boys in the balls with a bat came back to him. He was lucky to have a seashell, but it didn't make him feel any better. Suddenly, John was approached by Tracy, a former classmate of the writer. Today she teaches at this school. Tracy remembers him as Fat Joe, and she also read his book. The girl leaves the writer her phone number. John entered the gym as the vodka man was bullying another batch of boys. The gym teacher ordered the kid to do push-ups and in doing so put his foot on his back. He insists Johnny speak right there in front of the students. And the guy stands up for the kid. It seems the kid feels bad. John apologizes for the situation with the bill at the restaurant and asks Woodcock to do the same. But he thinks that only weaklings and criminals apologize. Our hero is angry and tries to convince his mother that Mr. Woodcock is a bad match for her. It was because of the PE teacher that he cried as a child, like everyone else. Their conversation was interrupted by Jasper. He deliberately bought only 2 pieces of meat for dinner and sent the boy to the store. When John returned, he found his mother in tears. He and Jasper are no longer dating. They are engaged and his mother is crying with happiness. The gym teacher sucked his mother right in front of John. Now he will be his stepfather. The writer decides to skip town that same night. Another horrible flashback on the chubby Mr. Woodcock shows a variety of wrestling moves. Now it's John's turn. But he grabs the immobile PE teacher's leg in helplessness and can do nothing with it, only to find himself once again on his shoulder blades. John changes his mind about going to the airport. Woodcock won't outlive him in his own house. John has to separate the couple. He's written a psychological book, after all, so he'll get into the man's head. Then he gets a call from Maggie. He's found invited by Oprah Winfrey, and he urgently needs to fly out, but John chooses to stay here and defeat an old enemy. He came home at night and his mother and lover thought it was a thief. Woodcock saw that it was John, but still beat him with a bat with all his might. Supposedly it's all a protective instinct. John decided to start with a little mischief and dumped the PE teacher's whistle in the toilet. Jasper drinks straight from the blender bowl, and John does the same, sucking in a juice pouch, which Beverly rebukes him for. He gives his mom a big hug, but Jasper responds with a savory kiss on the lips. John pesters the gym teacher while he's pulling weights. The writer doesn't shut up for a second and chats dumbfoundedly. On the treadmills, they had a competition, speed running, and John lost. After they went to a barbershop where the same boorish people as Jasper work, one of them shaved a piece of hair on the back of John's head. After they came to the father of the PE teacher, in the nursing home, he called his son a faggot and John mentally retarded. The old man doesn't talk, just swears. It turned out that Jasper builds not only schoolchildren, but also pensioners. One old man's hearing aid broke and he couldn't hear the gym teacher's commands, then he just threw the poor guy into the water, right out of his wheelchair. John jumped into the water to save him, but got hit in the nose and went down. He was given CPR by one of the old men, and the deaf man is quite a good swimmer. John got a call from Maggie, not happy that the writer was staying in town after all. John finds out that Woodcock was already married and meets with his first wife. Maybe that way he can get some dirt on the asshole. Sally Jensen looks so bad. She's not well maintained and neither is her house, but the woman has also read John's book and it's turned her life around. Although it's hard to believe, the guy lies that he's doing research for his next book and he's wondering why Sally got divorced. Turns out it was all about multiple cheating, but she wouldn't let Jasper go because he's just a monster in bed. John is not very pleased to hear these details. He admits that the PE teacher is going to be his stepfather. Strange, says Sally, this busty blonde looks too young. John guesses that Woodcock is cheating on his mother. Now he has to find the evidence. Niederman and his brother have already got it, or rather faked it. Then Beverly and her fiancé entered the room. For some reason Niederman, he remembers very well. Suddenly a tape came on which the idiot said that since childhood he had dreamed of bumping into Miss Fairley's breasts. The brothers run away from home in shame. A mother appeals to her son to get along with her future husband. John decides to distract himself and meet Tracy. He admits that he has been in love with the girl since 7th grade. She thinks that his mother and Mr. Woodcock are a good couple and he is sexy. It's all his charisma, masculinity, all the girls adore him. He's so witty. I think Tracy has a bit of a crush on him. John's not feeling well. He and the PE teacher have another toy battle competition and John loses, another game and another loss. The situation repeats itself time after time. Last chance, a corn eating contest for speed. John has won it 7 times as a kid, all the contestants acting like big rodents and chomping down cob after cob. John won the contest according to the old tradition, but he celebrated too loudly and ugly, mocking his rival, which offended his mother. Tracy was also embarrassed by his behavior. In the morning our hero was awakened by Niederman. He saw how some blonde came to Jasper, so they even hugged. Now John intends to break into the house of his enemy, and he doesn't care that he doesn't do everything as described in his book. Tracy called, and yesterday she thought the guy was out of it. So have him call her back when he calms down, but John's not going to calm down. He's going to install a hidden camera in Woodcock's house. The conspirators break into the PE teacher's dwelling and a woman's panties are found in the bedroom. Suddenly the owner of the house drove up. In order not to catch Jasper's eye, John went under the bed. It was on it that the lovers began to prank, shouting to the whole room. Niederman hid in the closet and shot the couple on camera. It turned out that it was John's mom who came to visit the gym teacher. Today, Jasper will be honored as Teacher of the Year, honoring those whose lives he has improved. Like the girl whose kitten he rescued, the guy he found pot on, and then Jasper called the police and got 6 years in juvie. But after that, he never did drugs again. He's thanked by old people and all sorts of oddballs that the gym teacher supposedly made men out of: firemen, cops, and even the mayor. As Teacher of the Year, he's been awarded a Big Apple, but the most important award of all, the corn key to the town, will be presented to John Farley today. But instead of any speech, John accuses the townspeople of being crazy. Woodcock is the biggest creep on the planet, who's been abusing kids for 26 years, and he also killed Olds. But it turns out that jerk Nadorman lied. The kid's alive and in the gym. But it doesn't matter. Ask his ex-wife how he cheated on her, but then Sally clarifies that she's the one who cheated on him and everyone in town knows it. If he did, he cheated on his mom with that busty whore, but the poor woman turned out to be a realtor. Jasper wanted to surprise his fiancée by buying a new house, and the leopard underpants are his mom's underpants. Woodcock freaks out and decides to kick John's ass. But Beverly wouldn't let that happen. She's disappointed in both men. The woman left the ring and refuses to talk to her son. Maggie arrived unexpectedly. All important meetings with the writer were canceled, but he still has one chance. Tomorrow he will give an important interview. It is necessary to control himself and not to talk too much. That same night, the mother gathered at the carnival as a corn queen. The woman recalls how in her childhood, after the death of her father, the boy prevented her from starting a new relationship, each time arranging sabotage, and then she gave up. Now he's ruined it. John went live on Tyree Banks' show. The boy says he was inspired to write the book by his mom. After thinking about it for a second, John decides to run off to support his mom, and footage of him fighting with his agent hits the TV airwaves. The guy came to the PE teacher and apologized for getting into a relationship with his mother. He always thought his mother was happy with him, but it turns out she can only be happy with Jasper. But Woodcock decided it was over. Then John called him a coward with a whistle. The gym teacher is pissed. It's time to find out who's tougher, and they both put on their wrestling uniforms. John can't do anything. Throw after throw, tackle after tackle, the gym teacher gets the upper hand, but John still learned what he could, and in the end he beat Jasper. He overdid it, and I think he killed him, but it was okay. The man confessed that John is no longer an amoeba. His teeth have erupted, and you are hiding a man, John concludes, and if he continues to hide it, he will turn into a reclusive grump like his father. The men decide they need to support the Corn Queen, and John is wheeling Jasper down the street on a gurney. They apologize to Beverly, and that's when the gurney flips over. In the end, John blesses his mother to marry the PE teacher, and he also made the conclusion that the past should not be forgotten, but embraced. Today, he is no longer the fat wimp he was when he was a kid, and Woodcock has a lot of credit for that.